The retail sales, we've been talking about SPAR, we're expecting to talk about Mr. Price, so retail is very much in the spotlight at the moment. Those numbers are out today. What are we expecting?
Yes, David, the numbers are out at 1 o'clock later today. We are expecting the numbers for September to come in slightly lower than what we saw in August. We saw the August numbers grow by 6.4%. We are expecting retail sales growth of about 4.9%, while the market is expecting growth of about 4.8%. We do believe that even though we normally see from August onwards towards the end of the year, we normally see quite considerable growth in retail sales. But given the fact that on the 22nd of September, we saw the strike happening in the trucking industry, we do expect that the September and October retail sales to really come off somewhat as we head into the festive season. We are expecting that general dealers will bear the brunt of that, as we saw as well. Anecdotal evidence suggests that we saw a number of empty shelves in the big retail stores as well as the smaller retail stores as well. And with the general retailers accounting for about 38% of total retail sales, we're not expecting to see a very good number coming for September. If we do see that number coming slightly lower than our number as well as consensus numbers, it does put some pressure on our GDP forecast for the third quarter.
Let's take a look at implications for interest rates moving forward, Shireen, because very concrete reasons as to why we're seeing that decline in retail sales coming through, and largely as a result of the strike action that we're seeing play out not only in the mining sector, but as you highlighted, in the trucking space as well. So to what extent would these numbers influence the next interest rate decision?
While Alishia, at the last MPC meeting, the governor did indicate that a large part of the reason why they didn't cut interest rates was on the back of the fact that we saw a very big widening of the current account deficit to 6.4%. And she placed significant emphasis on that, but she didn't steer away from the fact that GDP growth is still considerably low and that they would obviously have a look at that as we head into the next MPC meeting next week. Having said that, we did see the past two numbers for the trade data come out significantly worse than expected, at 12.2 billion deficit in August, and for September 13.8 billion deficit. So based on that, we're not expecting any movements in the rates next week. We do, however, believe that the governor will take cognizance of the fact that we are seeing negative numbers come through from the mining, manufacturing, retail sales as well, and that's going to put significant pressure on GDP growth, but they will monitor that. Currently, Standard Bank is pricing in no change for rates next week, but we do expect some rate change to come through at the beginning of 2013.
Shireen, we were talking earlier about a report that the weak rand is offsetting lower global food prices, and the rand does seem to have been set fairly steadily in that 865 to 875 band, having been in a band about 50 cents lower than that for a long time. So are we set now? What ranges are you expecting for the currency?
We're also expecting a similar range at what we have been seeing over the past week or so. We're expecting a range of about 850 to 9 rand, with the risks fairly symmetrical on either side. In the short to medium term, in the 3 to 6 month term, we do expect further upside risk to those numbers, to that range. We are, however, targeting a number of about 875 for year end and into the first quarter of next year. So fairly balanced risk, but we do expect further depreciation as we head into 2013.